Welcome back to the Dax and Randy Show, the number one show for going through the ups and downs of life. Stay tuned. You're coming up next. What's up? What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Dax and Randy Show. I'm excited to have you guys back with us for another episode of our podcast. It's your host, Dax, and as always, I got my beautiful wife, my gorgeous wife, my not feeling 100% wife, but she's still here with us. What up, babe?
Hi, I am Randi, the co-host of the Dax and Randy Show.
What's up? What's up? Everybody, this is the number one show for going through the ups and downs of life, and we always catch up with everything that's going on with us. But if you're going through some ups, going through some downs, it's all good. It happens to all of us. That's why we got the community that we got on the Dax and Randy Show, right, Ben? Now, before we get started, as always, we want to thank our sponsors, Basden Accounting LLC. So at Basden Accounting LLC on Instagram, Basden Accounting, that's where you need to go to get your accounting done. If you got a business, you need to make sure your books are straight. You need to make sure that you got people on payroll. If you got people working with you, you want to make sure you got financial statements so you know where the money's going, how things are going, allow you to meet with clients, grow your business on your own, focus on the things that's going to take your business to the next level. You need to make sure that your accounting is in good hands. You got to do your taxes. You got to think about the future. We do all of that at Basden Accounting. So shout out to Basden Accounting. Follow us on Instagram at Basden Accounting LLC, who always sponsor the Dax and Randy Show.
And
right?
Basden is spelled Basden.
I like how you say it. What's up? And my wife has got on a Basden Accounting t-shirt today. I always like when she rocks our business. You know what I'm saying? But
I need to get some more made.
Hey, you know what? I need some too. You know what I mean? Some different colors, different styles.
Like how
you
he
know
did
what I
the
mean?
last time with
All
the
that. The way he did it.
Yeah.
The way he did the hoodies with like the better texture and everything. Like, I know because it was so hot, so thick. But when it gets colder, we'll probably wear them. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, welcome back to the Dax and Randy Show. We're happy to have you guys here with us. And it has so much going on. I just talking to Randy, like, I didn't realize that we ain't talked for a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? So we got a lot to catch up on. But first and foremost, babe, how you doing?
I'm here. I'm here. I've had this migraine for the last few days.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't know. I think my body's going through something. My period is late, but
ain't nothing happening. Ain't nothing happening, unfortunately.
And it's strange because I'm on the pill. So I was supposed to come on before I went to Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what's going on. So
hey, so how you be feeling every time that you be false flagging that you might be pregnant? Are you anxious, scared, excited, hesitant to tell me because you know I have baby fever in like half a second?
Well, I didn't really think that I was.
No,
I didn't think that I was. I'm just making sure. I haven't missed any pills.
Okay.
So
all right. Oh, Alberna. Ain't nothing going on. You know
why
what I'm
do you
saying?
want me to have another baby anyway?
Because I wanted you to have all the babies right here so far. What kind of question is that? I've been married for almost 10 years. I got a wife that I met in school that I'm in since I was like 21, 22. You know what I mean? We got an amazing family. We make good money. Why wouldn't I want to have another kid with you? Why not? It's simple.
Because do you see what I be going through?
Yeah, but you're getting into like the operations and the challenges. I get it, but you're saying, why would I want to? It's a different question if you're like, would it be easy? You know what I'm saying? Should we do it? Like, that's a whole nother thing. But me wanting to, like, that's a slam dunk. Of course I want to.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it just might not work because of all the stuff you about to say. But me wanting to and us doing it is like two different things, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you will want to have another kid with me. I don't think you don't want to. It's just having the baby itself, money situation, how hard it is. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of work.
But I think if you was like, yo, do you love your husband enough to like have another kid with him? I think the answer would be yes. It's just not that easy. You see what I'm saying? It's not having a kid is not like going buy like a steak because you want steak tonight. That's all. But I think that we feel the same way about our family because we love our family. We talk about it all the time. You know what I'm saying? But it's easier for me to say that because I ain't got a heady baby and, you know, all of that. But I'm sorry that you ain't feeling good. I'm going to try to get your energy up. It's okay that you've been sick. You got your, I don't know what that is, honey tea, ginger tea, something going on. But
I'm just trying to flush whatever it is out my system.
And the timing is terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Vacation tomorrow.
Randy's actually going on vacation. I'm excited for her. She's going on a girls trip. I don't want to give all the details because you may not want to, you know what I'm saying? But Randy's about to take a trip, and now she's getting sick, unfortunately, right before she's about to go. So I hope that in the next 24 hours, things switch up for you. You know?
I'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm already feeling better.
Hey, so yo, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but any of my fellas out there, if you ever been him trying to hold the home style together while the wife is out of town, like keep me in your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Keep me in your prayers and all that. I'm gonna be dropping off 3 kids, picking up 3 kids. Randy told me I should have took some time off. I probably should have. You know what I mean? But somehow I think next week I'm gonna have even more appreciation than I already do for you because I have to do both roles for a week.
Yeah. Well, when you go out of town, the way I get through it is I pretend to be a single mom. So you should pretend to be a single father, and then that will help you prepare.
Well, why don't you explain that? Because I've never heard you say that before.
Yeah, that's what I do. Because it gives you structure versus like, oh, let me figure this out. Like if you don't put on this role, then you're just going to be winging it.
Hey, so question to that. Have you ever been a single parent before?
I have.
I haven't.
Yeah. Well, this is your week to pretend.
I haven't, but I'm just saying, like, you got experience doing it on your end. I don't.
Yeah.
You see how beautiful that is? I ain't never known what it's like to be a parent and be a single parent. Like, and I know it's got to be hard, but I'm always had you from the beginning with our kids, you know what I'm saying? And even when I met you, even when we weren't married and everything, like as I got my introduction with Mariah to being like a father, I wasn't on my own. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't having a kid with me every night trying to figure out the dinner or get them dressed for school. Like it wasn't on my own. I got to come and like help a little bit. I got to like get slow walked into it.
Yeah.
Because you was the alpha, you know? So I never had to do it on my own.
Yeah. And this is the longest I'll be away.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So, I mean, that's my advice. So just pretend to be a single father.
Mm-hmm.
Take the kids with you, like create an experience for them because they're going to love spending time with you. They're going to love sleeping in the bed with you. And they are hoping that you cook for them.
So they want to sleep with me in the bed. They want me to cook for them. They want me to drop them off, pick them up. I don't know how I'm going to do all this, but I'll take your advice and just look at it like, hey, if it was just me, I would have to figure it out. But I'll be all right. You know what I mean? You going to miss me though?
Yeah, of course.
You sure?
I miss all y'all.
I hear you. All right, so check this out. We ain't been in here for a while, so I do want to talk real quick. Like, if you guys been following our podcast, we always talk about creating experiences for ourselves, experience for our lives, our children, and everything like that. So we've been better like the last couple years taking vacations. You know what I mean? And I want to talk real quick. We guys went to Chicago. You know what I mean? I like Chicago. Chicago was a good time. We went to Chicago in the warmer months, so we don't know what it's like to be there when it's 20 below and all that. We heard stories from our Uber drivers of like how bad it could be in Chicago. But for anybody that's from Chicago or been to Chicago, I'm a big fan of Chicago now. So big shout out to y'all. Y'all got a really great city. The food is great. You know what I'm saying? The atmosphere is great. The skyline is beautiful at night. You know what I mean? We went to so many places. I don't want to forget well, we actually went to a couple of places and some of them multiple times. So we went to the Magnificent Mall. Next time I go there, hopefully we'll got more money to shop with because it was like, it made you want to buy things, but then it also made you not want to buy things because it was like name brand this, name brand that. But really nice stuff. I felt like they had a little bit more selection than we have out here in our area, like different colors. Like I just noticed, like, you know, the shoes, sneakers, and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? You weren't trusting the places that had all these sneakers in saran wrap, like these third party stores. He was like, "This ain't Nike. This is just Kicks, or whatever it was called."
That. Plus, I see online. Did you see the TikTok I sent you of the fake shoes? That
Nah,
There's a place that you can go online and get fake shoes. So when I saw these random shoe places, I'm like, I wouldn't know if they're authentic or not.
I know
it's not a Nike store.
We was in the store. You was like, well, how do I know this is real? You kept digging on that. And all
if I
because
have
it's
to
wrapped in
ask,
plastic for
yeah.
$350, it don't mean necessarily that it's exclusive. Like somebody could get you like that. Like the perception, I'm not saying that's what we were, but
We don't know.
all you got to do is take a fake shoe, wrap it, put $400 tag on it, and to somebody's perception, they'd be like, oh, this is exclusive. If you didn't know your sneaker game and all that, which I'm not going to lie, I don't.
Right.
So, we didn't buy a whole lot we didn't buy any shoes from like third party.
Yeah.
Unless it was Nike or Adidas or like something like that. We didn't actually buy these shoes. And maybe we missed out. I don't know. But we didn't feel comfortable with it. You know what I'm saying? All right. The Garrett's popcorn. Anybody like popcorn? We was a little addicted to that, but we already knew we liked that. So that was good.
Garrett's popcorn.
Serious bomb. We went to the Purr place. What is it called? The Purr that we went to every day with the different games and the we saw the fireworks there. Navy Purr. Go to Navy Purr. You got kids. Fireworks. They have fireworks. There are all different types of games and like rides and stuff like that. And the view, the food, like we went there like 3 times, I think. Easy. 3, maybe 4, I'm not sure. But it was something that we went back to a couple times. When we went there, we did the fly over Chicago. So Randy didn't do it, but like me and the boys did the fly over Chicago. And the fly over Chicago is like it's like one of those virtual experiences where it makes you feel like you're actually in a plane moving and flying over the city and flying through water, but you're actually just in a seat that's moving forward and back. But it was so amazing. It felt so real. The kids loved it. They, that was one of the things they talked about the most. So like creating that memory was nice. We went to this Illuminarium thing, which was okay. You know what I'm saying? It was all right, but
I think it was overpriced.
Way overpriced. I thought it was gonna be like more like 4D immersive, but it was basically us in a big square room with all these animals on screens all around us, and like they had like live footprints underneath you and stuff. But it was not immersive like that. You know what I'm saying?
Kobe enjoyed himself.
Yeah, he loved it. He loved it. But for the most part, it was like 3 times the price of Fly Over Chicago, and Fly Over Chicago was a lot more exciting.
It wasn't 3 times the price.
It was. It was more than that?
No. It wasn't 3 times the price.
The Fly Over Chicago was only like $20-something
per person. The other one was like 30-something.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was more than that.
Yeah. Well, okay. I know because I like to add up. Hey,
trust Randy's numbers. Trust Randy with the code. Don't trust me.
Back from vacation, I like to go through the expenses and add them up to see how much we spent.
Okay, so it wasn't that expensive then. All right, that was cool. What else about Chicago? Was that everything? Our hotel was good. So Randy was there for a course. So why don't you talk about that?
Oh yeah, I was there at the IRS tax forum.
How was that?
It was amazing. I learned so much stuff. I did. It was I've done the tax forum before, but I've done it webinar style. Mm-hmm. I've never done it in person. So to go in person, it was way different.
Yeah.
And it's surprising how the IRS, like their revenue agents, like they want to help you. Like it's very interesting because they're like, these are the things that we're looking for on an audit. And then they can quote you like where to go to find stuff so that you can be prepared. Mm-hmm. Like it's very interesting. And they have revenue agents there so that if I had a client and they had a tax situation, I could resolve it right there on the spot.
Nice.
I was like, okay, this is cool. But I learned so much. Mm-hmm. Business deductions, energy, tax credits, I learned non-for-profit stuff. Like it was so much. So yeah,
that's what's up.
I felt very empowered.
Yeah, you
leaving that conference.
Sometimes you could go to these business conferences and they be a little boring. You know what I mean? You may not get a whole lot out of it. But when I was talking a minute ago about us making memories and taking vacations, like this was all Randy's idea because, and this would be some advice for you guys, but like if you got a business or whatever and they have these different conferences and seminars and stuff like that, that doesn't mean automatically that you got to isolate and do that on your own. You don't got to leave your family, leave your wife and be like, yeah, I'm going to go out of town, go handle business and come back. So what we did was you had this conference that you was going to, but we took the whole family there, stayed a little bit longer and made a family trip out of it. So that'd be our advice to you guys. Like, yes, you're busy. Yes, you got a lot of work to do. Yes, you got conferences to get to and things like that. You got to fly different places, but get creative with it and find a way to possibly take your family with you. You know what I'm saying?
And just to be clear, you can't write off the whole family's. You can't write off the family's expenses, but you can write off your expenses. You can write off your hotel room because you were going to do that anyway. You can write off your airfare. You can write off your Uber to the, to the place where the classes are. Like there's so much stuff. Some of your meals, can't write off the whole family's meals, but you can definitely get a benefit.
Nah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And check it out. It's like you're getting it in like threefold because number one, you're getting to go to a seminar and, we talked about biz and accounting, but that's going to make you even better for biz and accounting because you're staying on top of IRS regulation. You're networking with some of the smartest people out there in the same field, right? So you're fulfilling yourself. You're making our business better. But yeah, you're also taking your family with you, giving us memories, allowing us to connect, love each other, and spend time with each other. And then also, you're spending money that you would have to spend anyway on a vacation, but there's benefits that you're getting because some of it's business. So It's almost like a slam dunk. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, when you have a business, there's so many benefits in having a business, but you got to understand it. That's why I got you, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So from that, I am thinking about doing like some webinars to educate our clients because I think one of the things that we could get better at is educating our clients. Like not just, of course, our advisory clients, like we talk to them on a regular basis, but our tax clients, that might have small businesses, we only talk to them like once a year. So I'm thinking about doing something like that, but I'm scared.
I know you are. But the thing is, it's not completely new because you created a tax course before. You know what I'm saying? But I think you've been in this space of wanting to share knowledge with clients, and life happens. Like, we ain't perfect. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad that this trip that we took is like ignited that fire in you to like share information because you're like extremely intelligent. And a lot of times, and we talked about this, but on the real, it usually takes me and you to have a tough situation happen. And this could happen to a lot of people, but when we get in these like tough moments with tough clients and stuff, we always do something pretty quick that reminds us how good we are. You see what I'm saying? Like you and I. But do we get a chance to share that all the time? Now, I'm so glad we got our podcast. We can talk about stuff like this, but we know a lot and we're learning a lot. We should share it more. You know what I'm saying? We should be teaching. We should be sharing. So I encourage you to do that. But why are you so afraid to do it when you're so good at it? Like, really, I'm not even just gassing, but like, you're so good at it. Like, not everybody's out there at some IRS conference. Like, hold on. Before I even get into that, let me give you guys some more advice on the real. You're like, well, okay, I'm got a trip. I'm gonna go do a course and take my family with you. No, listen, like, you have to like really plan it out. So the night before that you went to these courses, you hadn't even picked which classes you wanted to go to yet. Remember?
Yeah.
We were sitting there, true partners. I am your partner. Don't forget that. You know what I'm saying? I know I'd be tripping, but but we were true partners. And you was like, well, what course is going to be good for me to go to? And they had morning classes. They had afternoon classes. They had some duplicated classes where like if it's in the morning, it's also in the afternoon on a different day, right? So we ended up for the most part having this schedule where you was going to 12 or 1 o'clock every day at the latest, right? So I got to get up, take the boys to the gym, take them to breakfast, spend time with them, just daddy and the boys. So maybe that was a little training for this upcoming week. I ain't even knew it. You know what I'm saying? And then we got to like build this excitement for you coming in. So we didn't go do Navy Pier or go do, fly Chicago without you. We got to do everything with you. You know what I'm saying? But you got to handle business first and come home, and then we got to play. So it's like business, then play every day.
But that's the strategy too behind picking a hotel.
Right.
Make sure they have a gym. Make sure they have a pool.
Simple.
Yeah.
Hey, then you know what? That's true because I mean everybody's kids is different, but like for the most part, if you're in a hotel, number one, the hotel in itself is an experience for the kids just being away from home. But yeah, our kids, they love going to the gym. They really love doing whatever we want to do, just doing it with us, but they love a pool. A pool is an easy one, especially if it's a nice pool. It's not something that's like 10 feet deep and they can't swim in half of it. Like, so the pool was nice. And it made it easy for me every day. Get up, go work out, take them to the pool, eat breakfast. And then half of my day was gone. I did it every day. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so you go to this course, you learn so much while you was in Chicago. And I want to know, why is it that you're nervous to teach and do that? Because you're so good at it. You're so good at it. Like, your course was good. You know what I mean? It was good.
I don't have all the answers.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's an interesting space because I know a lot, right? The IRS would call me a tax expert. I am an enrolled agent. I have the credentials. I do my continuing education.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, am I a tax expert? But they say, you'll never know everything.
Right.
But I think my fear with the webinar, and the other thing is too, they talked about this social media tax advice.
Right.
They cannot stand it.
Really?
Yes. Because it's so wrong. Like, a lot of the stuff that's presented on social media, not everybody, but they had a whole seminar on that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm afraid that I'll be asked questions that I don't know the answer to, and I'll look stupid.
That's all right, though. That's okay. I'm glad you said that, though, because on the real, nobody wants to look dumb. Nobody wants to look stupid, and nobody wants to be in a space where they think they're perceived, or they know they should be perceived a certain way, and there's an answer that they don't know. I be thinking the same thing when I'm working sometimes, but that's where you have to humble yourself also and know that you're always there to learn. But it's hard because you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want something to be obvious where somebody could be like, well, you should probably know that. And you don't know it. You know what I mean?
But see, that's why I took the course on the tax credits for energy efficient vehicles. Because I know if somebody were to ask me about it, I'd be like, there's some credits out there. I know a little bit more now. Actually, I know a lot more now because I took the course.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm thinking, well, who am I to teach on this? But people need to know it as well. So I don't know.
What about the not-for-profit stuff? Because I know that we didn't always have those type of clients, and then out of nowhere, we got a few of them. And I think when we was going through the courses, that's one that stood out right away. Like, you got to take that one.
Yeah.
Did you get a lot from it?
I did. And I tell you, like, if you wanted to hide some money, the reporting requirements are so different. Yes, for a non-for-profit. Yeah. I'm like, what? So anyway, I'm not encouraging anybody.
No.
To do that, but yeah.
Nah,
especially churches. They only have to report anything.
I see. That's the thing. I didn't even know that until you said that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
But don't that make you? Ain't that like kind of scary though? Because I don't want to get too much in this conversation, but like, you got to be a good person, because you know how tempted you could be to like go into ministry for some reason that ain't got nothing to do with the Lord.
And I'm sure people do.
Like, that ain't got nothing to do with the Lord, like just money wise. Because not only, which I hate to say it, but this is some of the things you're seeing, but like, not only like you're saying it's a lot more lax in like taxes and requirements and stuff like that, but it's also, when you think about people in everyday business, they're not as trusting as people in the church. You know what I'm saying? So like, I hate that, but like, the average person that goes to church, they already believe in something called faith, which is pretty much something that they're going to believe even though they don't see something factually per se. They have faith. So like, they're more vulnerable, like, to have faith in you and your ideas and what you're pitching them and like what you're saying. So like, I hate to say it, but you could easily lead people the wrong direction because they're literally in an environment where they're asking to be led. Most people are not out there asking to be led. You know what I'm saying? But when you go into a church, you got a congregation of people that for the most part are looking to be led. They're looking to be a part of something. You see what I'm saying? That environment of like population that wants somebody to tell them where to go is already there. It's like prime real estate for a bad person. I hate to say it. You know what I mean? So,
well, they have wolves in sheep's clothing.
Isn't that a Bible verse or something?
Yeah.
I don't know it though, but that's something, right? Yeah.
I read it in there somewhere.
Yeah, so you got to be careful with that. So anyway, I don't know where he was going with that, but I'll tell you one thing when it comes to church, like, make sure you know the Lord, like, personally. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be in church with someone trying to lead you somewhere and you don't have the relationship. The relationship is between you and the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And you go to an environment where there's supposed to be other people that have relationships with themselves and the Lord and then you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful with that. But I'm glad you went. I hope you continue to fight your fears and start teaching and like bring this knowledge that you're learning back.
You gonna help me?
Yeah, of course.
You are?
I helped you with the first one a little bit, I think. But yeah, now I believe in you. You know what I'm saying?
You'll be my host.
Of course. Listen, we're doing big things right now. We're doing big things. We're making money in different ways and smarter ways, and that's the season. You know what I mean? Where we can't use our bodies forever. Nobody can, so we're gonna start using our brains more, and we'll learn a lot and we have a lot to give. You know what I'm saying? And to that point, you know, you're better for Basden accounting. I'm happy with the recent changes that we did with Basden accounting. We got a new manager in. I'll talk about that real quick. It's very, very new, but everyday operations need to be maximized. We want to grow, right? So like how we managing our workflows, how we managing our clients, how we managing our tasks, you know what I mean? Our software, people, how we're working together, our follow-ups and all that. We got a new manager with in her couple of days so far. She's been right on top of things.
Yeah, she has. She followed up with me on something because she had asked me a question about some transactions. I forgot about it. She came right up in there.
But do you feel yourself pulling your hand away a little bit? And you ain't never, I don't want to say you was never okay with that because that would be the wrong thing to say about you. But you was hesitant to do it, and to your favorite words, like, what's the plan? So we didn't have no plan. So just telling you like, yeah, you want to hold everything and you want to do everything and you don't want to let nobody help. I don't think that was the right way to say it to you, but like there's got to be a plan that makes sense. Because I've always told you, like, I do want to replace you in some aspect, meaning like I don't want you to not be in Basden accounting, but I want to replace everything that you do and allow you to manage it. You see what I'm saying? Truly manage it.
Well, I can see how it's possible now.
Yeah? Yeah. I'm excited about her. And now we got to grow even more.
Exactly.
We got to grow even more, which too.
How we going to do it though?
Right. I'm glad you brought that up. So look. Let me tell y'all something because we talk about real stuff on our show. So what in other episodes, don't know the names. Make sure you follow us, listen to everything so you know which episode it is. I couldn't even tell you, right? But we talked about the fact that we'll change our client profile and like short and sweet, everybody can work with us. Everybody can afford us. And every client that could possibly want services from us, we may not want to give services to them. We're a specialized company. Our price point is not the most expensive, but it's definitely not the cheapest. You know what I'm saying? And we have we have less clients, that get more of our time, more of our focus and better service than a bunch of clients just getting financials once a month, check the box and here you go. Our clients meet with us frequently. They hear from us. They get advice from us. We help them more with the day-to-day, managing what they should be doing, what they should be thinking about in the future. So we've changed, right? Now, because of that, we just can't get any client like that. We can't just go on an advertising program and just throw an advertisement out there and get a client that's willing to fit the mold of what we do. We have to connect a little bit more, right? So I was talking to you like, how are we going to get the advisory clients that we want? How are we going to grow it? How am I going to get these connections? And one of the things I'm thinking about, which I'm a little nervous to do, is do what you've been doing and put myself in those environments with other businesses and other professionals.
Yeah.
And talk about what we do and network. That's something I do it in my job, but I don't do it enough in my business. But if I was in an environment, let's say twice a month even, where it's a bunch of people talking about their business, lots of like-minded individuals, I'll probably hit a client or two.
Right.
And I talk, so I know that I could do it. You know what I mean? I know that you breaking rules today.
I know. I didn't even know my phone.
It's
I'm
all
a little
good.
under the weather. So.
Nah, it's all good. But I know I could do it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, y'all, hold me to that. I might have some. I'm looking to have some stories for y'all about me and Randi whenever she wants to come. Going on this new ventures of, spending some of our time on the weekends doing different business events. You know what I mean? Linking up with other entrepreneurs, sharing what we do, learning about what they do, and being able to connect. You know what I mean? And that's where I think we'll take it to the next level, because the source, as you've always said, it is me, is us, not what you see on a website. It doesn't do it justice.
Yeah.
Like anybody that goes on our website, on Instagram or whatever, like, okay, cool. But until they have their work done by us, until they connect with you, nobody would ever be able to see just how good you are at taxes. Because what we're not able to show easily is just how much it means to you. You know what I'm saying? Saving people money, making sure that people's being good with their money. Like that's something I've felt because I'm close with you. And anybody that's worked with you, they know like, oh, Miranda's getting dot the I's and cross the T's. They know it. It's different than just some little buzzwords. You know what I'm saying? With one thing you said with the tax advice, I do see people give tax advice and stuff on social media. And I'm going to tell you what I think real quick. I think I'm never. I know you said in the IRS thing they think they don't like it or whatever. I haven't not liked it, but I always look at what I've seen, because there's a couple people that come across my feed and I look at what they say versus what you say, and like the way you say it is like both the good and the bad. So like if I look at somebody's Instagram, they're talking about taxes, they'll say like, oh, well, I'll go buy this vehicle and you'll be able to save this and deduct this.
Right. I
But
seen that one.
like all that, or like you know. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like all this
First
type
thing
of
I would do is invest in real estate.
right. Like and I'm not saying these are not true things. Like we're not hating or nothing like that. But one thing I know with you and just in life in general, like don't let anybody ever tell you there's no such thing as all good. Nothing is all good. So like you, if you don't know both sides of every decision you make, you're making a decision with half the information or 60% of the information. So yes, you can do this, but what does it mean on the other side? What risk are you introducing? You know what I'm saying? Like you might say, okay, go get an S corp. You're going to be able to do X, Y, Z. But like, I got to have reasonable salary calculated. It's certain taxes I got to cover. That if I go hire people, I got to look at this salary periodically. Like these things, like hey, I might be able to go buy this car, but I'm not going to go from a $60,000 car to $250,000. Like what could happen bad. And I feel like when I talk to you, it's a little less glamorous.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm always
more
thinking
real
about the future. Like, you can get this deduction, take this depreciation this year.
right? But what does it mean?
What are you gonna do when you make that same 200?
But why don't they say it like that? Like they don't say it like that. They be like, hey, buy this, same example, buy this car and take all the depreciation and you're going to be able to bring your taxes down to this year. And they just leave it there. But then they don't tell you like in the long run, while you want to be a business owner for 10, 15 years, whatever the case may be, you ain't got no depreciation left. So on the flip side, when you are just starting out, or when you're growing a little bit, you buy this really, really nice car, depreciate everything. Ooh, taxes is lovely, big old refund. And now you're actually growing your business 2 years later and making a lot more money, and you don't got that thing there to help you out.
And then they forget to tell you that you still have to pay for the thing. So yeah, you bought the Range Rover because that was the biggest thing. Like for the past couple of years, a certain Range Rover that's over 6,000 pounds, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
You bought the Range Rover, you took the depreciation, but you still got to pay that car note. So you got to definitely look at it from many different angles. And I just tell the truth. Like, I'm not about getting the biggest refund. Like, I really want people to make educated and informed decisions financially, not just taxes. Taxes is one side of the equation. You got to make smart financial decisions, generational wealth.
Mm-hmm. And truly, like, whether it's taxes, whether it's anything that you're doing, for the most part, there's usually not one thing that you can just do and just make things amazing for you. And if it is, it's something wrong with it. For the most part, like, if it's too good to be true, but if it's one thing, it's like, hey, if you just do this, all this great stuff's gonna happen, something's missing. It's usually like a collection of things that you got to do over time to make things better. You know what I mean? You got to plan for it. That's why you need a tax accountant, not just a tax preparer. You need somebody that's working with you throughout the year to have an opinion on what you're doing and what it's going to mean at the end of the year. That's what you do.
What else I learned at the conference too? This just made me think about something. The IRS, they know all the ways that you can hide money, like different accounts and stuff, because they brought it up. Like some people try to do this, some people try to hide it here, some people try to do that. And in my mind, I'm like, I've actually thought of that before. They know, like,
you're not like sneaking nothing. You think you are, but
yeah,
you ain't.
They will
nothing.
find it.
Yeah,
they will find it. Yeah, yeah.
So just do the right thing.
You just got to have an honest return.
Mm-hmm.
And be prepared for an audit, because when they audit you, and I got the book, I got the plan.
Right.
So, but yeah, it was just very interesting learning from them.
Yeah. Are you gonna go to another one next year? It's every year, right?
Every year. I'm definitely going, and I think they have them in these amazing places, these big cities, because they want you to travel. Like, I think they want you to bring your family. I don't know, but I mean, I don't know. Or maybe these places can handle big crowds, but it was a lot of people, like thousands.
Gee.
Yeah.
So, that's what's up.
Yeah. But yeah, they had they're still going on. They got one in Baltimore, they got one in San Diego, they got one in Dallas. So these are the upcoming ones. So I'm like, I don't know where it's going to be.
I ain't never been to none of them places. So I'm looking forward. Assuming you're bringing me again.
Yeah. You be good.
Shoot, I guess this past week I might have not been invited, but that's a whole nother thing. You know what I mean? But I look forward to doing that with you again. You know what I mean? And you know, takeaways, things to think about is like, always be humble, be willing to learn. You know what I mean? Always be willing to realize that there's somebody out there that's got some knowledge that you ain't got, and that's okay. But you're not gotta be him trying to do it all on your own. Go out there, put yourself in the right environments and learn. You know what I mean? Get creative. You know, make moments for yourself, your business, and your family all at the same time. You know what I mean? It's always a way to do things where it's together and it benefits not just yourself. You know what I mean? Sometimes we got to think a little less selfish. I know the world tells you like it's all about me, yada, yada, but you can satisfy you and take care of the ones you love. You know what I'm saying? I think we did a good job doing that. And I look forward to the next conference that we could go to. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise than that, up and downs of life, you know what I mean? I want to talk to you guys about something real quick, because once again, our platform, we just talk about the ups and downs. We just talked about a lot of ups, traveling, learning, business, sharing it with our clients. Randy's about to be teaching more as long as I stay behind her. You know what I mean? Got to go to Chicago. I don't like the Chicago deep dish pizza. I thought I would, but like I felt terrible after eating that. So I think that's a one done thing for me.
It was just too much.
It's just too much cheese, you know what I'm saying? But I want to transition real quick because I learned something this past week, man. And I want to first thank Randi for helping me. Like Randy's my ride or die for real. Like she'd be with me through everything. You know what I'm saying? And I want to transition back to something I said in a previous podcast where, you know, I was talking about how life would throw things at you that you don't expect. And you could already be dealing with an issue, which for me was my back. And then all of a sudden I went to the doctor and they was talking about my blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? I just want to give you guys an update on that. I went to the doctor this past week for my checkup. You know, can I talk about this? You cool with that? I went to the doctor my last week, you know. And before I even say that, let me tell y'all something, man. When I came from the doctor a month or so ago, everything like in my mind was just like in a bad space because they said, look, you got to get a blood pressure machine. We want you checking your pressure every day. You know what I mean? I don't know if they said every day, but they definitely said frequently. Okay, every day. And they have thrown out the words like blood pressure medicine. And I was just in a bad space. So here it is, you know, I got this machine at him. And if I was supposed to work on my stress, it was making it worse. Because every day I was checking it, and sometimes you guys might relate, but like when something's going wrong in your life, you want it to be fixed right away. You know what I mean? You're looking for that magical thing, and like for me, I would check it, and one day it's a little bit higher, one day it's a lot higher, one day it was lower. To the fact that me and Randy was getting back and forth, she took the machine one day and was like, "You ain't checking it today." When we went to Chicago, I took my pressure 2 days. And then we packed it away. Like it's been a stressful thing because here I am writing my blood pressure down every day, morning and night. and it's not getting better fast. Like it was just up and down, up and down. And I'm got this doctor's appointment impending where I'm hoping that I could walk in and be like, yo, my pressure's great now. And it wasn't happening. You know what I'm saying? And I was going to the gym and everything. And something happened where, let me just speed up a little bit. But I go to the doctor. I've took my pressure like 2 days before. It's still a bit high, and when I'm at the doctor's office, I find that I was cool up until the morning. And then as soon as I got to the doctor's office, it's like my heart was racing. You know what I'm saying? And I was so stressed. It's like you might think everything's good. And then when you get to that moment of truth, it's like, yo, like what's going to happen now? Because I know that if I go in there, at least in my mind, if I go in there and this pressure's high, I'm going to be on blood pressure medicine at 39. And I'm already thinking of what that could mean and stuff like that. Well, anyway, I walk in there and as the, sat me down or whatever, for whatever reason, and I know I'm gonna get this to Mariah because I know she has something to do with it, man. I prayed about it, I prayed that, the Lord would take care of me during this situation. I asked that he take care of me during this season of my life that's real tough. And I say that because I went out to breakfast with Mariah like a week before I went back to the doctor, and I was talking to her about this whole thing, my health and all that. And she's 19, you know what I mean? I'm double her age. She had the advice for me at that moment that you've been saying also, but it was a little different coming from her, where she was like, you know what, Dexter? She was like, when I find myself struggling and I don't know what to do and I'm in my own head and stuff like that. And she's like, I honestly just give it to God. And she was like, I'll just tell him, like, get me through this season. And she was like, you got to remember that this is just a season in your life. You're actually going to go through other things. And this is what you're going through right now. And she was like, you just got to trust that he got you through all of these different seasons. That's what she told me, right? So that was in my mind. I prayed about it. I went in like I'm going to take my pressure. And like always, my ride or die shares up. I ain't even know Randi was coming. You know what I'm saying? And right before they, they're going to do my thing, Randi shares up and she's there for me. It made all the difference, for me. So the lady had taken my pressure, and the whole time she was taking my pressure, she was asking me, she's like, are you okay? And I could just tell probably my demeanor, you know what I'm saying, was giving it away, but she was like, are you okay? So anyway, you was there. And guys, the doctor comes in, he's looking at my numbers and he looks at my pressure and he was like, oh, the top number was still, high, work on your soul and stuff like that. But he said, your blood pressure is great today. It's 120 over like 68 or 70 or something like that. I don't know exactly what it was.
I think it was 68.
120 over 68. It was literally perfect. I hadn't seen 120 the whole month that I had been taking my blood pressure. You might be like, yo, why are we even talking about this? Because I walked in there and the facts that I had in my hand didn't support that. Now, I don't know if you're listening, if you believe in God, you might not be a Christian or the biggest, believer in a higher power, whatever you want to call it, but I had no reason, like I had no proof of that. And I asked God, and I'm giving it to my wife, I'm giving it to my kid, but ultimately I'm going to give it to him as to why in that moment was it literally 120. Perfect. We leave there, we go out to breakfast, and I'm sitting there with my wife, and I hope you don't mind me talking about this.
No, go ahead.
But I just want you to know, like, this is what I remember even more than that. My wife starts crying at the table, and I didn't know why she was crying. But in that moment, it was another reminder how much you love me. And you started to let out about how you've been praying for me and how you were asking God for a miracle for me. And you was trying to convince me they were tears of joy, even though it was a lot of them. And those kind of moments I remember about you for the rest of my life, even though I be messing up a lot. Because it showed me like, yo, you really love me, man. And you was really had my back. and you really was trying to pull for me, even in the background. And it just hit me because this whole time I've been so negative and terrified, and you wouldn't have even been able to pray with me because I was in such I have no faith. But so you was kind of fighting for me in private. I saw it. Like you've been fighting for me in private, praying for me in private, trying to help me out in private all along. And it worked, you know? And does that mean, like you said, that I need to go back out and fall off the wayside and eat crazy? And, you know, yeah, we had a good breakfast. I've had a steak since, you know, I need to chill, and I will. But I love you for that. And he told me that I, you know, come back to the doctor March of next year for my annual. He didn't mention any blood pressure medicine or anything like that. And it couldn't have been any better. So I thank you. I thank my daughter, Mariah. I don't know if you heard this episode, but thank you for being my angel that day. Thank you for being that person that gave me the message that I needed. And for all the times that I think I've been able to pick you up or help you up, I needed you to pick me up. Your spirit that day and the way you communicated to me, it made me think that, it made me remember that I've been through more things, and that what if this is a, season. And I say all of that, yo, because no matter what you're going through, and look, I'm not perfect. I'm still struggling with it, but life is full of seasons. I'm giving you the advice that my daughter gave me, man. Life is full of seasons. You got good seasons, you got bad seasons. You got rainy seasons, you got winter seasons. You got fall, it's cold, but then all of a sudden it's spring and it's raining. And then all of a sudden it's super hot. But we go through seasons. You will come out on the other side through these tough seasons. And if you're going through a good season, you will hit some storms, and your good season will be abruptly ended.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How did that impact your faith?
That's a great question. You know what? Can I be honest with you?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't. I don't want to say, I'm very real. I don't want to say it impacted my faith like all of a sudden I have more faith, but it made me realize how much faith I don't have. And how much I need to work on my relationship with God, because I didn't have any faith at all. So it did make me realize, like, my faith isn't there, and my daughter got more faith than me. And it made me realize that. And I do want to change that. And I need to take the steps to change that. So that's how it's really impacted my faith, because I grew up Christian, I grew up 7-day, but it kind of showed my lack of relationship, because somebody that's been there for me my whole life, I didn't believe that they could help me out. I would rather go on Google and research things and worry and go into my own understanding, which a lot of us do. And I didn't even know how to put it in God's hands, for real. And I don't think I did until that day. It was always in my hands. So now I will say now, yes, I do have certain thoughts. The fact that my blood pressure was perfect doesn't mean that I automatically think that I'm some super healthy person. My back ain't 100%, but I do want to not be here thinking that I know everything, because I think that was my problem. You know what I'm saying? So pray for me with that. Nah, the other thing, I'm been talking too much. That's a theme with our podcast. We can work on it. But the other thing, let me tell you something. To that same thought, fellas, man, boyfriends, husbands, uncles, cousins, all you men out there, man, it's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to go to therapy, man. I'm going to say it again. It's okay to go to therapy. You know, like, I just started therapy. Done. I learned something that I thought I knew, but it's different when you hear from somebody else, man. So I've been to 2 therapy sessions real quick, all right? And the reason I went to therapy, you know what? Why did you push so hard for me to go to therapy? Before I say what happened in therapy, you've
been low. Like, I think you've been looking at your like physical situations in an unhealthy way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Randi,
mindset.
mindset. So Randy's been saying things to me like, why do you keep looking to the things you don't want? Maybe y'all could relate. You're sitting there and you want something out of your life, but you're not even looking into the things you actually want. You're worrying about what could go wrong. So you're giving all this power, you're voicing all these things that is the outcome that you don't even want for real. So like my back's hurting, I'm sitting here like, what if I'm sick? What if I'm sick? What if it's something serious? I don't want it to be that. So why is that what I'm saying all the time? So that's what you were saying, right? So let me fast forward. Guys, it's okay to go to therapy. It's not weak. It ain't nothing like that. A lot of us, man, like me, I didn't really have, I've had great, like my grandpa's amazing, my stepfather, but like for the most part, like there's certain things that you can't even talk to family members about the way that you need sometimes. Sometimes they impact it, sometimes they're part of it. But anyway, I went to therapy and the first thing that helped me out, I'm only been there for 2 sessions, and I'm telling you, because I ain't told you nothing about my therapy. I'm gonna tell you. But the first session I had when she was asking me like about, what's causing me stress. And, I started telling about the back and the stuff I was thinking. And then I don't remember the exact term, but she let me know that there's actually a behavior, like there's actually a diagnosis for people that have an overwhelming concern about their health. Like it's not about me. Like it's an actual diagnosis, just like somebody being bipolar or schizophrenic. Like it's an actual diagnosis that's with people that have an overwhelming, unhealthy worry about the health. And she was like, let me explain it to you. She was like, yours is showing up this way. But she's like, there's people that will get a headache one day and be like, oh, I wonder if it's an aneurysm. Like people that are like that all the time. She's like, that's a condition. It's a form of anxiety. Like I have anxiety. That's what I got from that call. Like I got off the call and I was like, no, I'm not just being me. I'm not just being actor. Like this is not a Daxter thing. It's a thing. You have this type of anxiety, done.
Well, that's good to know because all these years I thought it was a Dexter thing.
Well, thank you.
No, because every time you get sick, it's like a big deal.
Yeah, but she was like, no, and I'm screwing up. So forgive me, guys. I don't know what the exact term was, but it's basically a type of anxiety where anything that goes wrong with your body or whatever, you just go to the utmost end result, no matter what, and it's triggered by many different things. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I left the first session. It was just the intake session. We didn't get into too deep about anything. And she just let me know. Like, so I got off that call feeling I felt a little bit like I'm not alone, for lack of better terms. Like I can look at this and say that I have something. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I took from the first call. Now the call I had this past week, yo, this lady got me crying. I weren't planning on that, but this lady got me crying. And she asked me a question about how's my relationship with my family members? And have I been through any tough times with them? Something like that. And I started talking about all these things that's happened. And me verbalizing it out loud was tough, but like I talked about losing my brother when I was younger, when when I lost my brother, what was this, 2010? You know what I'm saying? I talked about my boy Earl when I lost him same year and I couldn't go to his funeral because it was the same day as my brother's. I was talking about that. Talked about my cousin getting murdered the same year. Talked about my granny losing her the same year. Talked about your mama and how she moved in with us and had a little spat, and then 2 months later she's passed away. You know what I'm saying? Talked about our friend that we went on dates with him and his wife, and his my age, with kids my age, and all of a sudden he's got colon cancer and he's gone. And I started talking about all these things and my granny in 2018 and how I flew to Burma to see her because I knew she was sick. And when I got to the airport, she's literally dead already in a white box at the crematory. So I literally went from the airport straight to the crematory to see my granny in a box right before they cremated her. Somehow we started going through all of this stuff and I'm crying about it. And she was like, have you ever asked yourself, have you grieved any of these things? Like, have you really grieved? I talked to her about, she was like, well, what happened after your grandmother passed? When did you grieve about it? Like, she started being specific. When did you grieve about it? What did that look like? It sounded like weird the way I'm telling you, but like it was very specific. Like she was asking for like a time period. So she was like, after your granny passed in 2018, when did you grieve? What did it look like? What did you do? And I sat there and I was like, well, kind of soon after that, my mama's been messed up, suicidal. You know what I'm saying? Out of that situation. She was like, oh, so it sounds like you haven't grieved yet because it went from your granny and now you're trying to take care of your mama. And now you're trying to take, like, she just kind of put it together and she was like, when have you grieved about these things that you're going through? Have you grieved? And I sat there and I was like, I don't know. I said, I've cried about it. And she said, no, grief is a different process. She's like, when have you did that with all these things that's happened to you? Because it sounds like it's just been one after the next. And the thing that she said to me, I know we got to end soon, but the thing that she said to me, she was like, the theme of all these things that's happened to you is that they happen so fast and you didn't expect it. She was like, your brother, unexpected. Your cousin, unexpected. Your granny got sick, but she was mad healthy. Aerobics teacher, mad healthy. And then all of a sudden you go and see her, she's in a wheelchair looking different. You remember? Like everything was so fast. And she's like, yeah, you're out here in America too. So you're hearing things, you're not seeing it, you're not experiencing it every day. So it's like you heard bad news, whoop, now it's real, bam. You heard bad news, whoop, I even talked about with your mama. I was like, up until, and I don't want to upset you, but I was like, up until we got that call and I told her about the call and grandma called us on the internet and stuff, I didn't even believe it was super, as serious as everybody else was saying. It's like I was in a fog until it was too late. And that's when I realized, like, yo, this is actually really serious. So she asked me, when have I grieved, and started connecting the dots. She was like, I want you to realize that you may not see, but she's like, you're very aware of what death can do to somebody. And she was like, that is probably a huge contributing factor as to why you have this anxiety that you do. Because in the back of your mind, you might not be thinking this way, but you're living life like, if something happens to me, what's going to happen to my wife? What's going to happen to these kids that love me so much? What's going to happen to your mother who's already messed up? And you're carrying all of this weight because you got all this unresolved trauma. And she was like, you want to know why you're this way when every little thing happens to you? Because nothing is allowed to happen to you. You have no peace with that. So you want to make sure, she's like, you're living life making sure that nothing's going to go wrong with you because you know what it could do to the people that you love. And she was like, if you want to try to get past that, you're going to have to find a way to grieve about everything that's happened and get to a level of acceptance that you don't have. Oh, I remember I just had this conversation this week. And then as soon as she said that, she was like, well, our time is up. This is what she said. She's like, well, our time is up. And she was like, I need you to do one thing for me. And no, she was like, our time is up. And then she was like, can I ask you something? I was like, what? She was like, right after that, she was like, our time is up. But she was like, I just want to ask you something. What do you do for fun? And I was like, oh, I coach. Me and my wife go out to the gym. I take my kids there. I started running through it wasn't luxurious. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, me and my kids go to the kids club. We go play. It was kind of a thing where we all go to the gym now. They love it. My son plays basketball. I coach soccer. And she was like, look at that. And I was like, what? And she was like, look how you lit up just like that. She says, I want you to hold on to that because everything that we just went through, you still got that in you. And she was like, after this call, she said, I want you to go and spend time doing one of those things that just made you smile like that. And that's how we ended the call. Anyway, yo, I say all of that because, I'm a man, but sometimes it's for men and women. Sometimes you do need to talk to somebody. And I had a lot to think about after this counseling session, but it made me realize like it's been so much happening since my brother passed away. And maybe everything I've did ain't the right things because I probably haven't grieved these situations. And I've buried them. And it's showing up in this anxiety that I have about my health. And she was like, you don't see the connection, but trust me, everything comes from something. It's just like, you know that nothing can happen to you, but something is going to happen to me one day. So I have to find a way to get through that. Anyway, I just took the last 20 minutes, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But real talk, like, talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. Sometimes you don't know why you're doing certain things, and it may not even seem related, but something that's happened to you is showing up in another aspect of your life. And me getting a headache, or somebody getting a headache, thinking that they got a freaking aneurysm, or having a back pain that's not going away, and thinking that, you know, it could be cancer or something. Like, you might just sit right there and think, well, this guy be tripping. He's got an unhealthy mindset, but maybe he's somebody that's been hurt so much and seen so much death come quickly and hasn't come not to peace, but hasn't grieved any of it in a way where he's moved on the right way. So now something happens to him later and it's coming out in a different way. Make sure you follow our podcast, you know what I mean? The Dax and Randy Show, we go through the ups and downs of life, you know what I mean? We went through a lot of ups today, but we also went through some downs. But I think the downs are also ups as well, because I went to a counselor, man, and I'm glad that I did. And I'm going to keep going, because I want to make sure that things that are happening now are not because of unresolved things from the past. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate my counselor for talking me through that. Had me in tears. I didn't even expect it. But it kind of just has me thinking a little bit differently. Just a little bit. Like maybe something I don't know about myself. You know what I mean? Anyway, Randy, thank you so much for letting me talk the last 35 minutes. You know what I mean? But I wanted to share that with you. And everybody, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We love y'all. Make sure you follow us, The Dax and Randy Show, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere that's got podcasts. I don't think nobody's doing it like us. Nobody's talking about things as real as we are. You know what I mean? And until next time, peace. Make sure you follow The Dax and Randy Show on all platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or on YouTube. Let us know what you're going through. This is the #1 show for going through the ups and downs of life. We want to hear from you, engage with you. Till next time, peace.